Oh, yeah, that looks so good. I'm like, ooh.
Going to my face instead of everybody's face. All right, hey, what's going on, everybody? Everybody's going to be loading into their little boxes in a second here. But yes, welcome to Level 1 Adventuring. It has been so long since we've been together and seen all of you all together. So thank you, everyone, for being here in this moment. We appreciate you so much. I certainly appreciate you. Who am I to appreciate you? Well, I'm Wolf Scott, and I am the host and dungeon master of this show that you're watching on the channel, which is Level 1 Adventuring. What is Level 1 Adventuring, you may ask? We are a RPG and ttrpg stream, channel, content platform. You can check us out on Twitch. You can check us out on YouTube, where we upload all of the previous episodes. And all the other socials for updates. Check out, I'm plugging everything, the Discord, where we talk about the games that are coming up and all the fun memes. Ailing said, God, yes, it's the gang. Yeah, the gang, baby, they're back. And there was another thing I was going to say, and I can't remember what it was. Oh, thank you, Tabletop Audio, for the music that hopefully you are hearing in the background, because we appreciate you. And also thank you, Streamlabs and Streamspell, for a lot of the fun little visual elements that are decorating the stream. And we have an affiliate link actually down below if you would like to use some for yourself. So check that out. Other than that, I think I've talked about just about all I could. So I would love it if my lovely friends here could introduce themselves and get this show on the road.
Hey y'all, I'm Sydney, and I am going to be playing Viola Newmont. She's a holier-than-thou cleric on a mission to find her god. So I'm going to pass it over to Kimani.
Hey y'all, it's Kimani, the humble and handsome bard. I'm hyper cell today. So let's get started. Let's get started.
Popcorn.
I believe that's me.
I think it's gotta be. I think it's gotta be Amber, because Garrett is looking quizzically into the monitor.
I was muted.
Oh wait,
That's
he
what
did it.
Oh, that's what happened. Okay.
Yeah, take it away.
So I'll take that again. My name is Garrett. I'm playing Yoan Byrne, our tiefling wizard. I'm thrilled to be back. I think I fixed my video buffering issues, so I might be a little less choppy. And now you can hear me. And so that's me.
Beautiful.
And what's up, y'all? My name is Amber. I am playing Nadara Valir, our half-dro rogue, in our level 1 adventuring campaign, and I am very excited to be back.
That is the theme of the night, being very excited to be back to the stream. And we had more. Dumbass Loki says, "Heck yes, absolutely, heck yes to be back." Ailing says, "Oh no, Cattywack strikes again." I actually don't think some of the gang might have heard this. Now, whenever anything wrong goes in the stream, we blame it on the trickster god of Mira. So, Cattywack strikes again. So we have a lore purpose for that, which is nice.
Wow, we need a shirt.
Oh, hey, don't tempt me. Don't tempt me. I'll make it happen. So where were we the last time we met? That we were just talking about that because it's been a while. So to give us a brief recap of our previous adventure when we last left our intrepid heroes. So as those of you, Loki said would buy in terms of the shirt. Okay, all right, you said it, Loki. Ask and you shall receive. Cattywack strikes again shirt. When we last left our intrepid heroes, so for those of you who've been following us for a while, the party got roped into helping a young squire, a near useless squire by the name of Percy, a lovable but near useless squire, across the land to deliver a package of some import to a knightly organization known as the Valiants. The gang has gotten into a lot of trouble since then, fighting gnolls and bandits and all sorts of things. But they eventually found their way to Riverholm, which is sort of this gravelly bluff of land, constantly scoured by rain, which hopefully you're hearing some atmospheric effects, and dotted and crisscrossed with rivers and bridges and wanderers. But this was to be where Percy had to deliver the package, the mysterious package. I think Nadara actually got a sneak peek of the package one time as Percy was tending to it after a fearsome battle, and saw that it seemed to be a very a runically carved reliquary made of a very fanciful sort of silverite material. Definitely looks to be like a level of treasure which would be beyond the normal frontiersmen who are traveling across this land, but beyond that the party doesn't have much of an idea of what this item is. They eventually found the Valiant's camp and learned that the person that Percival was delivering this package to was not only a storied captain of the Valiants, was also his uncle, Theor Graham. And Theor was none too pleased that the party took quite a while to arrive with the package, because it turns out that as they've been waiting at camp trying to get this delivery, more and more of the soldiers that have been placed here on guard at camp have been mysteriously disappearing. And they keep losing people night by night. They're not quite sure how or why. They send people out to go find them. They either never return or they come back empty-handed. And so the party, in an effort to Kelpie props, the party, in an effort to endear themselves to the Valiants and with promise of reward, because it turns out that the Valiants have some pretty deep pockets, decided to help with that particular problem. So they set off. Well, another side note too. One of the Valiant attendants, which helped them settle into camp, was by the name of Ross. Well, Rios, but everyone just decided to executively name them Ross. Was one of the unfortunate missing captives. So they had to go find poor young Ross. They set off into the wilderness. And unfortunately, heavy rains and bad conditions kind of made that search harder than expected. Also, there was a very non-helpful frog, much to Musa D's dismay, trying to coax information out of that frog. was not very helpful. But they eventually found their way to this big bridge overlooking a river, where they were taking a moment to catch their breath, and Percy happened to see something mysteriously glimmering and glinting down in the water. And so the party decided to investigate. Frogs never are helpful. It's okay, Musadi, I understand, says Ailing. Not helpful, or did someone not just have flies to trade, says Loki. Ah, there you go. How do you catch a fly? It's better with honey than vinegar? Something like that. There's a saying for this. The party decided to investigate. They jumped in the water to take a look at the shining thing down at the bottom of the river, and it turned out it was the soggy breastplate of one Ross, who was thoroughly drowned and dead. And before the party had much of a chance to figure out what else was happening, squiggly vines and kelp started retching up from the ground and entangling some of the party, and it turned out that it belonged to this creature, this amalgamation of plant material and eerie lights and darkness that was in the shape of a horse, plodding its way around the bottom of the lake. Started dragging people under the water, using mind control to force people into trying to drown themselves. Zorvarax, who's not here, got the front end of that pretty heavy. But eventually, through persevering against all odds, the party managed to force the Kelpie into a retreat, and as the Kelpie was galloping away, a quick lucky shot from Percy, and then followed up by a finalized shot from Nadara, put the Kelpie out of its misery, and it landed smack dab onto the stones, just a mess of kelp and black ooze. And that's essentially where we left our story. So the remaining party members are... Whoa! An anonymous gifter just gave us some. Hey, all right. Thank you so much, gifters. We love you. We love to see it. Also, do you like that like thrashing metal music that I put into all of our alerts? Because now you're gonna hear that pretty much anytime it happens, and it's gonna scare you because it scares me every time. But it reminds me that it's happening. Yeah, jump scare. You don't have to pay bits for these jump scares. They come for free. You just have to follow us. But that is essentially where the party left off. So everyone is going to be, for better or worse, licking their wounds, regaining their footing, crawling out of the riverbanks, with the knowledge of Ross's unfortunate passing. And we're going to pick up there in a moment. But before we do we have any clarifying questions from the party proper? Or any business that you want to attend to from, like, in-between session kind of stuff?
I don't think so.
No, we
I
don't
also
think so.
don't really remember, like, fully.
Yes. True. All right. Anybody? So no? No. Okay. All right. So if that is the case, I think we'll take it from Percy, who is clutching his spear, like practically trembling, with some black ooze on the tip of it, sort of gazing off in the distance where the Kelpie has now been splattered quite thoroughly, sort of like, I did it. I got a stab and I helped. Sort of like the emotions washing over him as Theor is like plodding out of the water. You know, hair of grizzled gray hair just sticking to his face, wet, sort of. Aye, lad, you did it. Just sort of like marching his way off of the riverbanks. Sort of coercing amongst themselves. What's the party doing?
Where are we?
Oh, look at
in relation to Kitty,
Kitty.
a joy boy.
Ailing says someone should fetch Ross's poor cold body out of the water, at least before it starts bloating.
I think we did, didn't we? Or at least that's what we went in to do, and then we got by the Kelpie.
Yes, so since you got, you haven't been able to manipulate the body yet.
Cool. And
but
then, am I still in the water?
I will say, in terms of like where you want to be positionally, it doesn't really matter. Combat's over, so you don't have to worry about your movement. If you want to narrate that you've pulled yourself onto the bank, you can. We don't have to worry too much about the movement mechanics at the moment.
Cool. Yes, so I am gonna go get Ross out of the water, and I'm gonna immediately start trying to like dig a grave.
Okay. With seeing you swimming in the direction of Ross, Rios, Theor will.
Ross.
It's Ross now. Theor will definitely swim up alongside you. That is, of course, one of his charges. And as you're dipping down and you're getting into the water and you're dragging Ross's poor body out, and it is a sorry sight. I mean, it hasn't been under the water very long, but I mean, as you all experience firsthand, the Kelpie has the ability to strangulate and squeeze, and probably the eyes are showing signs of that hypnotic effect as well. So definitely was coerced into the water before snatched away. It's kind of a gruesome scene. But as you get Ross's body onto the riverbank and you sort of start looking for your tools, Theo raises a hand and says, "It's mighty kind of you to start this, but not here. Let's take him back to camp, give him a proper send-off. That's the way we do things at the Valiants."
Of course.
Anything else from while that's happening?
Yeah, while that's happening, Nadara's gonna walk over to Percy and just clap him on the back and say, the beginnings of a true warrior.
You clap Percy on the back, and almost immediately his knees buckle as he like almost falls forward on himself. True warrior. Well, I mean, the Graham's blood does run through my veins. It is true. And sort of like, shoulders the spear, practically misses the sheath for the first go, but then manages to get it in there. of course, it would have been impossible without the intervention of you, all of you, demonstrating your prowess once again. Truly a thing of great majesty. Loki says, "Oh, my ship, yes." Percy X Nadara's ship is real.
I love that we've made this canon. Nadara's just gonna give him a very like affirming head nod, and she's gonna go away and like kind of like start cleaning her daggers and checking on her bow.
You can see as Nadara walks away, like Percy, almost like a cartoon getting like a whiff of a good pie's like head follows you for a second, and then you like get a certain distance away, and then he like recollects himself and trudges off to find Theor to help attend to valiant business as best as he can. Musa D and Yoan, what do we got going on over here? Musa D's probably, I can tell you one thing, Musa D, is there's probably some bits of kelp and seaweed and vines which are still entangled in your armaments at this point.
I am face first, not moving. I almost drowned, so like I'm not gonna do too much here, right? I'm just gonna lay down face first.
You just see some gurgling bubbles of mud from the side of the riverbank as Musa D collects themselves.
That's it for me.
And Yoan, what we got for you? Oh, there we go. I saw your mute button there.
I think Yoan's just kind of collecting himself and watching everything that's going on around him because he's a little. Oh,
I got you. At least I think I got you.
Oh, you got okay. All I heard was but I thought maybe I cut out.
I think Caduac strikes again. We can hear you. We can see you. Hello, we can see you. Caduac.
No, that's fine. But every now and then I just hear little like oh.
Every now and then I get a little bit lonely.
Anyway, all of this that I just went through is pretty much Yoan right now.
Okay. Yeah, just trying to mentally grapple with what has just happened. Absolutely. Loki said, I missed this. Yeah, we missed it too. We're glad to have you. I think so. It sounds like the party is just recollecting themselves, getting ready to head back to camp. If there's no other bits... I see a hand raised for Viola. What's up?
Yeah, after I finish getting Ross
out of
Cannon. The water, and Theor tells me to move along, I'm gonna go do healing hands on Musa D.
Oh, nice. I think that is, 2 points of healing now? Level 2?
Yeah. I mean, it's something.
What is, when you channel the healing light of Tetrios into a being, what does it look like?
Yeah, so, it is... So you see a little bit of glow underneath Viola's hood. It's a glow of blue, and blue comes through her hands. And I'm just gonna go ahead and place them right on. I'm gonna put them on your back because I assume that you're laying on your tummy. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm gonna put them on your back, and then blue is just gonna like radiate out, and you get 2 points of healing
Healing damage. you lose 2 points and then gain 2 points. It's a net 0.
Yeah, so I actually do nothing, but it looks.
But
really
it looks
cool.
really great. Musa D, there's almost like as the healing light is channeled through you, there's almost the soft sound of like a thunder that rumbles at the back of your ears, but it's almost like a comforting. It's almost like a purr that like rolls through your body, and you can almost hear the crashing of a wave in the distance as Tetrios is channeled through your form. And you gain those 2 hit points. All right. Aside from the healing, anything else?
As a reminder.
What's up?
Didn't Percy save me at some point in all of this? Didn't like jump in the water?
So Percy very valiantly, I will say he very valiantly did jump in the water spear first. Whiffed entirely though. I think it was the attack roll, but I think Theor and Percival did attempt to cut you free from the kelp. I think ultimately it was Theor's blade that undid the final rope, but Percy did try, as Percy is wont to do.
Okay. I didn't see that. I'm not going to acknowledge that, but okay. Just want to make sure I put that in the back of my mind.
Yeah.
Thank you for the inspiration.
Yeah, inspiration. Beautiful. From a distant observer to Musa D. Ailing said, Percy did attempt. Yes, did attempt. Alright, so with that, I think Theor and Percival, being the two resident valiants here, will walk over to Ross. You know, it would normally be a two-person job. Theor is already sort of a very strong-bodied person, and Percy's probably in equal parts not. So I think the majority of it is like Theor throwing the body over his shoulder, and Percival hoisting the rest of the weight from the back half. It's not a pretty job, but they try to do it with as much reverence as they can for their fallen comrade as they begin to march back away from the bridge towards the main direction of camp. And unless anybody has anything to do during the transition between camp, we will go there. Okay, beautiful. Oh, I should also say, there are two commands which you can use in our D&D streams, My Roll and Inspo. Those of you who are familiar, I've already used some inspiration in chat, but I also added a new thing, which I should talk about. So we have this thing called Bit Roller, which allows you to use bits to roll dice. And I thought it'd be fun if whatever result you get on your D20, you can, like, gift to the party. So they can choose to either, if it's a bad roll, they can give it to, like, a bad guy. A bad guy! And if it's a good roll, they can give it to a good guy. You know, something fun like that. So if you feel so inclined... That's a bad guy. So if you feel so inclined, we do have that active as well now. But with that being said, the party will walk their way back towards camp. The scene is a somber one. You know, there's already... Obviously, you've seen from even this past night that their numbers have been slowly dwindling. So the holding force at camp is more or less a skeleton crew of armed individuals. But even those that are on watch, you know, they hear some armored bodies moving down the path, and they, boldly move forward, blades in a readied position. But once they see that it is Theor, Percival, and the rest, they, slowly lower their arms, and then the wash of realization hits them as they see that Theor is, of course, and Percival, hefting the weight of the corpse of Ross. And immediately, I think, a group of Valiants will sort of swarm on their position and alleviate most of the burden of the body from Theor. And begin to, Theor shouts some commands, find a good place on the hill, some place where it's not wet, where it's bright. We'll tend to it in a few hours at the moment. Make sure they're rested, they're fed, sort of pointing towards the party. We'll convene shortly. We have to talk about getting on the water soon. But we want to make sure we pay homage to Rios. And, they all nod and they split off into all directions. Turning back to the heroes, Theor says, it's going to take some time to lay the man to rest. You've certainly earned yourself some sort of reward for what you've done here today, and I will ensure that you are handsomely compensated for your service.
Well, we do appreciate it.
This is to say that you will still be following us. Oh, I see a transference of hands. This is to say that I imagine you'll still be following us to Danareth, to where the package is to be delivered.
I'm gonna look at everybody and make sure that, yeah, okay. Of course.
Yeah, Dar's gonna nod at Viola.
Yes, of course. We are true to our word. We will follow through with the entire of our deal.
Aye. I imagined you would be, but it's good to hear it.
I'm going to look at him in the face and be like, is there anything that you need now from us? Is there anything that we can support you with in this moment? In this sad time?
He strokes his graying beard for a moment, cold, steely eyes sort of searching his thoughts. Well, I have to say, Rios was a valiant soldier, kind heart, but I don't know to which divine he pledged himself, or if he did. That being said, I know you are a priestess of some sort. Would you be so bold as to help us give him his final rites when it's the moment's time?
You don't even have to ask. Of course.
I thank you. The Valiants, thank you. And we'll make sure that his family knows that his soul was laid to rest proper. Theora looks to the rest of the party. Anything else before I make sure you're all fed and tended to? Oh, Half Health Full Magic says hi, chat. Hey, what's up, new chatter? Good to see you. When you ask do you need anything, Theor, Ailing says, a hug? Question mark.
Oh.
oh, Viola said maybe.
I mean, Theor is like a silver fox.
That's true.
Just saying.
All right. So if there's no other business that Theor has with the party proper, I think we can transition into maybe some downtime at camp, and then we'll move into the next scene at camp. If that sounds good to everyone. All right. Yeah. So I think in this moment the party can take the benefits of a short rest, if you have not already done so. You're at camp. Just to Theor's word, the Valiants make sure that whatever meager supplies they have in terms of trail rations and somewhat warm and decent bedding and a roaring fire, you are given that. So you do have the ability to make use of it. There is a moment, for a while, Percy is ushered away to speak to Theor. And the rest of the Valiants, of course. Being a squire, he's still a part of the larger crew. And you can see some Valiants go out back towards the to the direction of the bridge where the Kelpie was slain. And they come back a little bit later with what appear to be the remains of the Kelpie, or whatever's left, just like sludge and some kelp, as at least some form of proving that the threats of the channel have been quelled for now. At some point, Ailing says, "Eat the Kelpie." Become one with the Kelpie. You must.
I mean, I'm just gonna say that we are living in the woods.
It's true. It might be a very, I don't know, seaweed's supposed to be good for you, so maybe
Man,
Kelpie.
hell no.
Loki says, bet it tastes like frog. Or do you just want it to taste like frog because the last one was such a jerk? With that...
And actually, if you close your eyes, it all tastes like chicken.
yeah. As moosity wretches. At one point, Percival returns to the party with sort of a small bundle, and I'm going to look at my notes here to make sure that I am doing what I want to do. Yeah. Sorry, I can't help it when I'm thinking I have to sing. It helps my brain. Percy returns for a moment and says, well, I do hope that the Valiant's hospitality has not been wasted on you, such as it can be in these harsh and somber of times. My uncle, of course, has seen fit to make sure that you are at least somewhat financially compensated for what has happened this day. We had, of course, to reserve some payment for the funerary rites and the family of Rios, Divines, bless him. But this is what we can offer. And sort of reaches into this pack, and there's a collection of coins between the entire party, if I'm doing my math correctly. Yes. the smattering of coins is about 200 gold. So for everyone, we'll just round up to 35. So this is minus whatever expenses it's going to take to send Ross's body back to their home, and says, also, we did manage to recover something of some particular interest from the Kelpie. I have very little use for it, and the Valiants don't know quite what to do with it, but we figure that you all seem to be enterprising sorts. Perhaps you can drum up some information. And, reaches into the pack, and it's still sort of wet, and you can hear it sort of squelch as he reaches inside. But what he produces looks to be an orb about the size of his fist. He's kind of, wrapping his hand around. But it's like a sort of like I don't want to say it's pulsating, because I would insinuate that it's alive, but it is like fleshy, and it is yellow, and it actually looks to be glowing with the same resonance of the bulbs of light that were acting as the Kelpie's eyes when it was still alive. It does seem to have a puncture in the side of it. Passive Spy says, pulsating. Yeah, why does everybody want to eat this thing? Why does everybody want to eat this thing?
I don't want to eat that. It sounds like it's a testicle. Like, that's a ball.
I don't want to say my thought out loud, but last stream everybody was like, everybody, like, make out with the Kelpie, and now everybody's like, eat the Kelpie. There's a weird line of thought that is just happening with the Kelpie. But there is a punctured orb of, like, a softly glowing yellowish flesh that Percy extends outward. It does seem to have some sort of resonance about it. Perhaps you can make use of it.
What the hell are we gonna do with this? Does anybody know anything about this? Like, I'm not smart.
You could give me a medicine or an investigation check.
I am very good at medicine though, so let's see.
Oh.
I'm gonna use a point of inspiration because I was a 2. I don't know what the fuck this is. Okay. It's 14.
A 14? Okay. Although you're not acutely aware of what something like this could be used for. I mean, you do know that, all sorts of reagents and compounds are used to create items of worth, alchemical potions, magical items, all use different things. Maybe even the parts of an enchanted creature could be converted into some sort of, distilled into some sort of formula or other enchanted component. So it may have some value in terms of its magical qualities.
So we're looking at maybe turning it for a profit, or are we looking to turn it into something?
That's for y'all to decide. As the dungeon master, I'm just handing you a glowing orb of Kelpie magic.
I'm not fucking touching it. Viola goes, no, I have a limit. I will not hold that. Somebody else has to hold it. I will not touch it. I will not carry it.
Yoan, if you did not hear, we attempted a medicine check on it, which was decent, but not all-knowing. And we do know that the enchanted bits of creatures and other sort of magical beings could be used as a magical item component, or maybe, used in some sort of alchemical purpose, or, so there's some magical possible purpose with it. But Viola does not want to touch it, so that's for y'all to decide if you're going to take it.
Oh, Nadara wants it.
Yoan wouldn't mind.
Nadara.
Yoan will hold on to it.
Oh, Yoan, okay.
Nope, there we go.
Oh, that's fine. If Nadara has it, then Yoan can borrow it every now.
No, feel free. Go ahead.
Percy cranes over towards Yoan, the orb still dripping from his fingertips. He seems almost relieved to be able to pass this off to you. Yoan, my good man, it's all yours, as it, like, squelches once again, like, in his fist.
Why does it smell?
Smells like lake water. You know, like that smell when you go to like a carnival and there's like a water ride that's like way too old. You know, it's like that mildew smell. Yeah, that's like what it smells like. Absolutely. But we will say that the item is now thoroughly within Yoan's compartments. Percy will then join you at the fire where you're resting, and sort of you can see like the sweat pouring from his brow. This has been quite an eventful few days. I mean, just moments ago, enjoying ourselves at a tavern, we fought our way through beast folk and bandits and ogres, and now, creatures of the waters deep. Who's to say what next we will face? I wanted to say thank you, at the very least. I know that it may feel like the rug has somewhat been pulled out from underneath you, knowing that we have to travel to Danareth, but I promise you, I was not aware that was the destination proper when I assigned you to this job. I thought this was as far as the road would take us. My uncle, I don't want to say he wasn't being forthright, but it believes there are even commands that are above his head. I don't want you to feel as though I've deceived you.
Percy, as long as we get paid at the end of this, I do not feel deceived the slightest.
Well, if that's the case, I can assure you that the Valiants have more than enough gold to satiate that curiosity, so long as we live. And I do hope that you'll continue to help me live. You've been doing a fine job of that, I'll say as that much.
We'll think about it. And I wink.
Anything else for Percy?
I am blatantly ignoring him because he tried to save me. So, like, I don't want nothing to do with him.
Because he tried to save you?
Right.
Wait,
Wait, you're mad because he failed?
in his bravery. Yeah, I don't want nothing to do with it.
I think.
That's that toxic shit. Right on that toxic shit.
I'm gonna give. Are you trying to play it off that you're ignoring him, or are you just being very blatant about it?
Blatant.
Blatant about it? Okay. I think Percy is going to, like, be talking to Nadara and talking to Viola and maybe even, like, sitting, like, next to Musadi, and, like, every once in a while we'll look over and smile, like, yeah, we're having a conversation, and then you're, like, doing nothing and, like, looks back. Musadi, I cannot help but feel that there is a certain, aloofness that was not between us, not but a few hours ago. I mean, I understand that there was some very death-defying moments, quite literally, that took place, but I'm hoping that you don't feel me to blame for such circumstance.
I am going to look to Nadara and say, Nadara, can you please tell Percy that I didn't need his help?
And Percy will actually look to Nadara, will actually wait for Nadara to deliver the message.
Instead of delivering the message, Nadara is gonna look straight at Musadi and go, "Oh, Musadi, are you hurt because you had to be saved? Not the pirate drowning in the water." Oh, no, I expected more from you.
I'm probably going to get up, and I'm going to go toward the other Valorants, and I'm going to start playing with each of them. I'm going to ask them. I'm going to ask them the Valorants.
I'm gonna run after you.
I'm going to ask the Valorants. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to start tuning my lute. I'm going to ask them, tell me about Rios. And I'm just going to let them tell me about Rios.
Tell you about who? Sorry.
Rios. Ross. Rios.
Yeah, Rios
Ross.
Ross.
It's pronounced Ross.
Right. Ross. Right. Ross. Right. Tell me about Ross.
All right, I'll say I do have some characters here. The other Valiants who are in the camp, you have a couple individuals to choose from. There are a pair of dwarves which look to be like they are playing a card game by the campfire. A woman and a man, by the look of it, from this distance. And you have a rather stern-looking, battle-scarred half-orc who is directly looking into the flames very intently. Doesn't seem to be interacting with anyone around them. And then there is a woman with a dark complexion with gold earrings. She's standing at the edge of the camp near where the water is, and it looks like she's fiddling with some fishing equipment.
Yeah, I want that last one.
Musadi, you stride up. Are you like tuning your lute as you're like walking behind?
Yeah, just super quiet, right? Like just tuning it up again, because I guess my goal is I just want to talk to the folks and I just want to celebrate Ross in his life, but in a way that's just silent and respectful.
For sure. And so hearing the lute sort of like being tuned behind her, she turns around and cuts a glance at you. Not an icy glare, but definitely one, like, obviously she was at the edge of the camp doing her own thing, like, somewhat for a reason. So kind of, like, sees you approach and is not, like, disdainful towards your approach, but just sort of, like, shrugs her shoulders and goes back to, like, hooking the line and, like, doing her fishing business.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just, again, some space in between. I'm just going to plop down. I'm going to play just, like, a little soft little dirge. And when I see that the moment allows, I'm going to ask, who was Ross?
And as you're playing and you're asking these questions, she casts a line into the water. You hear it, like, plop in as she begins to, like, tug on it a little bit, trying to get, like, the right angling. Do you often like to approach people when they're in the middle of something? Is this a common occurrence for you?
All the time.
There's a bit of a snicker under her breath. I gathered as much. You are a bard. You all seem to make a good habit of that. You want to know about Ross?
Yeah. It seems like... Yeah. Tell me about him.
Ross was young.
Yeah.
Ross was spirited. Idealistic. Believed in the Valiants in a way that probably is what cost them his life. I can't say that I shared the bright and cheery disposition that he had when it came to the knighthood, but it served him well until it didn't.
Now she says that there's a small little pause and I ask her, are you all ever afraid?
Sorry, are you afraid?
Are you all ever afraid?
To this, she, like, tugs hard on the line as, like, something bites, and she, like, wrestles with it for a moment, and then looks back to you. We would be fools if we weren't afraid. We are knights, we are talented, we are strong, we are not impervious to death, as you've just learned firsthand.
Another pregnant pause, and then I ask, how often do you lose members?
And as she, like, pulls back on the line, you can see there's a plop in the water. She apparently has lost whatever she's tried to angle for, and she curses under her breath and, like, pulls back the line and begins, like, setting another piece of bait onto the hook. Far more often than we would probably like to admit. The Valiants are an old organization, one of the most respected, but that means we are the first and last lines of defense across the frontier, in wars, peacekeeping, otherwise. And she, like, pauses for a moment. We're on borrowed time. All of us.
Yeah, are we all? I'll just leave it at that.
And as you leave it, she plops the line in the water. Give me a performance check.
14.
14. Okay, pretty decent. You can see, you sort of like let the moment pass. It gets silent. And, you know, she continues to stare out in the water. You can tell that she's kind of going through her own existential thoughts about life and death after losing a friend and a comrade and all that. But as you're playing the dirge, I think there is a part of her that is, even if she doesn't vocalize it, somewhat moved by your playing. And as she's casting her line, she will, it's like, it doesn't happen all at once. Like, she sits down to fish, and as you continue to play, she'll, like, you know, she tries to almost, like, play it off. Like, she takes a few inches over as she's casting her line, and then another few inches as she puts on another piece of bait. And not too long through this whole endeavor, she ends up actually sitting pretty close to where you are positioned as you're playing, and is just sort of, like, letting the silence, well, aside from the music between you, just sort of, like, massage the moment, and she just seems to be silently enjoying the tune that you're playing.
Okay. Yeah. I'm just gonna lay low, keep playing. Just, you know, you can go on to somebody else. I'm just gonna watch.
So as Musadee and the Valiant are enjoying each other's company somewhat silently, fishing in the corner, Percy watches at a distance as Musadee has just gotten up and walked away, and looks back towards the party. I don't know what I've done. I thought I was doing good. I tried as hard as and just the whole weight of the situation's like hits him like a brick, and you see his shoulder slump. He just sort of like bends forward.
So Viola starts to head after Musadee, but then sees that he's talking to a lady and just like does like an abrupt about face and just goes right back the other way. It's like, oh no, we gotta give him his space to work his magic. And I go back to Percy and I just put my hand on his shoulder and I say, "You tried. Sometimes pride gets in the way of your feelings."
Nadara?
Nadara is going to follow up by saying, "Ego is the bane of a man's existence."
And then I'm just gonna go, "Men."
And Nadara is going to share in that.
Percy will like look back and forth, not quite sure where to stand on the situation, and just sort of like dutifully nods his head, unsure of how to answer without getting in trouble.
You get it.
Yeah, of course, yes. Yeah.
You know.
And then sort of turns and looks at Musadee. I do hope I can repair whatever wound I've managed to sew in Musadee's heart. I don't know, I thought we were getting along kind of well, all things considered.
Oh, you were. Just give him some time. He's just got a lot of big feelings he's got to feel.
Ailing says the only wound is that of his ego. Oh, she said, it's okay, Percy. Oh my god, Percy's just, you know, he's surrounded by all of these heroes, and now one of them doesn't like him, and he's sad about it.
I would also like to say that the wounds on the ego take the longest to heal, so we just need to give him a little bit of patience and a little bit of trust, and just bring him a little bit of ale when you have an extra glass. Just drop it by him.
Well, I'm sure there's a water skin or two I can spare. All right. And he'll nod and he'll sort of mosey his way back to camp. Definitely, you know, there's a bit of a pep out of his step, but he's somewhat emboldened by the chat that he had with Viola and Nadara. Ailing says, I do feel bad for Musadee. Bards often sink instead of swim. Do we have anything from Yoan? Oh, Yoan is back but had to join on another device, so he'll be blank screening it. Oh, are you not in the frame, Yoan? Ailing says, rip Yoan.
No, I'm not in frame because I'm on my phone now instead of my laptop, which I forgot works so much better.
Oh, okay. Well, then here, let me, everybody talk amongst yourselves as I...
It's the
Oh
soup.
wow, I saw it. I saw the explosion. Oh, everything went dark on the screen.
Yes, that is to be
Okay,
expected.
cool.
Nothing is terrible yet.
Yeah, we just see Garrett.
There we go. It should be fixing
Now-
itself now. There we go. See, I told you. Cattywack
I
strikes
can doubt
again.
you.
Okay, so Yoan, last we left you, you have a pulsating, squishy orb of Kelpie magic, and the party is suddenly having all of their feelings hurt. So what are you doing in all of this?
I think just based on the fact that I was not here for half of that as me, I think Yoan's just kind of sitting by his lonesome, turning this little Kelpie ball over in his hands and trying to figure out exactly what its deal is.
Okay. Is that like an Arcana check or an Identify, or what are you feeling
That's
like?
what I was just thinking. It might be time to. Ooh. Well, does it have the distinct tingle of magic?
Oh, there is definitely a distinct tingle of magic against your fingertips there, Yoan.
Then I will absolutely take this short rest to identify this
Ooh.
Kelpie orb.
What does it look like when you're conjuring a little Identify spell?
I think given that we're leaning into the transmutation of it all,
Oh yeah, that's right.
I think he's turning it over in his hands. He's sort of like, organic material isn't really a thing that he can transmute, but he's still sort of like attempting to, seeing if there's any inorganic stuff in there that he can make into metal or wood, feeling how the magical energies change. So it sort of like shifts and shimmers a little bit, but it never quite solidifies into anything other than what it is.
Nice. Also, can you tell me what languages you speak?
That's a great question that I definitely know the answer to. And I know what tab on Dice Cloud it's on.
that does tell you with some certainty.
Common, Infernal, Ignan, and therefore Primordial.
Yes.
Elvish, Gnomish.
Ooh, okay. Because you know Elvish, can you give me an investigation check?
Sure. Ooh, I'm proficient.
Proficient.
14 total.
14. Okay. So you turn this object in your hand over, and it is wet, and it is gross, and it is not pleasant to do. But it does shimmer and sparkle. Yeah, lots of 14s. I agree. It does shimmer and sparkle. And a sort of story starts to be told in your mind as you begin to remember the eerie bog light that was... what is Yoan over in the back with a cup of coffee in one hand and a squishy orb in the other, completely oblivious to the underwater struggle. But eventually... you start seeing the story of like the eerie bog light that was emanating from the eyes of the Kelpie that is sort of transmitted within this orb in your hands, and it begins to glow with that same yellow iridescence. And because you understand Elvish, there's a bit of a mental hoop that you have to jump through, but because you do know that the creatures are Sylvan in nature, that the languages are related, Elvish and Sylvan. So you can start sort of deciphering the magical whisperings that are happening behind your ears as you're like plumbing this orb for information. Once you finally find your way through that haze of information in your mind, you understand that this orb, this little punctured, pulsy yellow orb, can function like a cracked mist globe. This sphere of yellow material weighs about a pound. If you are within 60 feet of it, you can speak a command word in Sylvan and cause it to emanate the light spell.
Ooh. Very interesting.
In fact, I just because everyone is so grossed out by it, I will change the trigger. Instead of being within 60 feet and speaking its command word, you do have to. It's like a two squishes to turn it on and two squishes to turn it off. It's like, yeah, exactly, yeah. And it will stay it'll stay lit for 60 feet.
God.
And if you go out of that range,
Nice.
it blinks out. But light off. Yeah, just like that commercial, remember? On, off, squish on, squish off. But yes, so that is what you learn about the Kelpie's eye orb. It can be used as a broken drift globe.
Yo, you would still eat it, but you might be poisoned.
Or
You
you'll
don't know
eat
what
it.
makes it glow like that.
Yeah, I'm about to say you'll eat it and then your stomach will just be glowing with like yellow light. Be a big
You're
yellow
gonna grow
ball.
a glowing tree in your tummy. Congratulations.
Oh, I think I have to. Let me fix Nadara real quick. I think Nadara disappeared for us.
Sorry, yeah, my internet dropped out.
No, it's okay. We're probably just gonna see the same thing we saw where everybody like disappears and then comes back.
Yeah. Talking amongst ourselves, here we go.
Oh, there, see? When you sing to yourself, it helps.
Yeah, but yes, sir. That is dynamite too.
Says every time I talk, a light just comes out of my mouth. Amazing.
I mean, that is pretty cool. But I would think it's like the same as like eating a glow stick, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
My-
will
my-
it stay glowing forever?
Might be a hazardous material situation going on there. All right.
Is there
You
any
eat
type of
Oreo.
like courier at camp or anything like that?
Yeah, I think they're. I mean, you know, they kind of have a used to direct traffic, says Loki. You do know that obviously their numbers are a little thin at the moment, but they probably would have someone, you know, nearby who could ferry messages if it was necessary. Why? What's going on?
Nadara would like to, if possible, locate this courier because she wants to send some funds back to her family
Aw.
before they go across the pond.
Absolutely. We'll say, you know, you ask around the Valiants. Eventually, you are led into the direction of a sort of a wily-haired gnome woman in the Valiant armor. Sort of like two, it kind of looks like two pigtails that were like struck by lightning shooting out on either end, with like a lavender hint to the hair. And you can see she has sort of glasses over her eyes that kind of magnify the size of her gaze as she's sort of scribbling furiously on a few bits of parchment against a wooden box. Hi, yeah, what can I help you with?
Hi, I'm looking for temp service to transport some funds, if possible.
Oh, well, I can certainly send some papers if that's what you need, and then those can of course be translated to a bank at the nearest location of which will trade over currencies.
Oh, well, thank you. That's exactly what I need. Yes, I'd like to send 50 gold pieces, if possible.
Of course, and then she like smiles and just holds out her hand.
She drops it in.
And of course the sender's fee.
What is the sender's fee?
That will be an additional 5 gold, please.
Does it not count that we just killed a Kelpie right outside your camp?
Ooh.
And we're helping the Valiants on a very distinct mission.
Okay, is that a persuasion or is that an intimidate?
Oh. Ooh, what am I better at? Let's check. Let's see. Oh, that's gonna be persuasion.
Okay.
Yeah, let me see. Sorry, it's taking forever to load this up.
No, you're good.
Alright, so... Go, go, go.
Go, power. No, I'm not gonna say
Oh! 16.
16. She kind of turns over the coins in her hands. Loki says, I don't quite know how to use the bit roll. I think it's a component. I think it's part of the overlay on the stream itself. The command doesn't do it. but I believe it's part of the component packages, if I'm not mistaken. She looks at the coins in her hand, and then like you can see she kind of grimaces. I mean, you know, far be it from me to deny the royal postage of their normal fees and regulations, but I do suppose that you did do a valiant service for the Valiant, so I can waive it, but just this once, and don't tell anybody.
Oh, consider your secret safe with me, as long as my package gets there unharmed and unrolled, so...
And she takes the coins and like puts them in a bit of packaging, and you can see like out of like one of her pigtails, she pulls out this like a rather official looking stamp, and you just hear like thunk 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 thunk, and there's like a bunch of like Valiant symbols on it. Consider it sent post haste, and gives you like a salute.
Thank you. And when Nadara's gonna give her like a cute little wink as she walks away.
She seems a little surprised, a little flustered. She like kind of grabs the package to her chest and then sort of gives you a sheepish grin back, and then like quickly scurries away like that before you can trade words again. But yes, you've sent some gold away for your family.
Thank you.
Yeah, it says we like winking. Yeah, you do. Y'all are flirting with every NPC. You're like, oh, Silver Fox Knight, yes. Cool Fisher Lady, yes. Male Lady, yes. Whoever.
Yes.
We're ready.
If it's not.
All right. So,
wait, how much gold do we get from the Kelpie fight?
You all got 35 apiece.
35 pieces.
And a squishy light orb.
Okay, thank you. Perfect.
Logan says, "Hey, gotta get around." I mean, hey, it's we're a liberated people here in Mira. You know, people did that work. You sent a critical roll. I didn't see a notification pop up. Did it pop up for you? I believe you. If it was a 20, I believe you. I think it only shows up on stream if you use bits. Otherwise, I think it's just free. I think that's how that works. But do we have any other information for anything else we want to do at camp before we move on to the next scene? No? Okay.
Yeah.
With that, I think once everyone sort of convenes back around the fire, though there's a bit more time until the familiar plunking of heavy boots and metal announces itself, which is Theor, and sort of casts a gaze over towards Viola's direction. I do believe it's time if you've prepared yourself.
I'm always ready. Unfortunately.
He lifts his gaze to the rest of the Valiants and the larger party around camp. We'll now be laying to rest the soul of our brother Rios, a Valiant who died in service of his people. For those who have it within them to stomach the service, we're meeting at the hill post haste. Follow me. And like turns on his heels and begins to march in the direction out of camp. So everyone who feels like they want to be involved can be involved.
I'm gonna grab Musadi and I'm gonna ask, will you play? Like give us some underscoring. Just some mood for this funeral. I know, I just wanted to ask. Great.
The contingent of Valiants are led away from camp, and you can see they've kind of walked a good pace away, so it's just sort of breaking the clearing of trees where all of the banners that led you into this direction were, in a place that is away from the riverbanks where the soil isn't caked with mud and probably likely to be washed away. And you can see there's sort of like a small outcropping of a dusted hill with one of those large, sprawling, weeping willow trees that the river home seems to be just inundated with. And before the tree, you can see Rios' sword, which has been plunged into the earth right at the the base of the roots of the tree. And Theor approaches the sword, and there's something in his fist, and he kneels down, and as he opens up his hand, you can see it's actually a thin string of metal that's been that has like a couple tabs that look like they have a shield with a hippogriff clutching spears on it. It's the equivalent of sort of like a dog tag, a sort of a military nomenclature for the Valiants. And opens up the chain and drapes it on the handle of the sword and lets it hang down. And in this gentle breeze, you can hear the metal sort of the dog tag clinking up against the steel of the sword as Theor nods his head. As captain of this regiment, as senior member of this order, I do proclaim that Rios has been lost in the line of service. May his soul find peace wherever it chooses to. May their family find peace in this troubling time. And it looks over to Viola. We are lucky to have a servant of the Divines with us this day that will ensure that Rios' soul finds its way to the beyond one way or another. And he sort of like stands and turns and still stands over the sword, like looking down solemnly on it, but gives space for Viola to approach.
So I'm going to approach, and I'm going to remove my hood and bow my head. I'm going to say it is with great reverence that we have Ross here, who is passing on to the other side, and I pray that he has safe passage through Tetrios. And I'm going to place my hand on his sword, and I'm going to cast light on the sword.
Ooh. Nice. There is a... so this is the first time you've removed your hood around the party. Am I not mistaken?
I think I've done it once before, but I don't think everyone was there.
Okay. This is an interesting moment then, because as you unveil your hood, what is clearly present to all of you is that symbol. Well, oftentimes you've seen a silvery blue light erupt from out underneath the hood. Possibly. I mean, you're battling. Sometimes you might not acutely be aware of what's happening, but there has been. But in this moment, when Viola removes her hood, you can see that the emanation of that light is actually a symbol, a rune, which has been sort of etched across her brow. And for those of you, I would say the majority of you have heard stories of people like this. That is a telltale sign in the lands of Mira that a person is an Azamar, essentially a god-touched or a god-born person, where like the blood of the divine runs through their veins. And they are a very rare breed and type of person that exists in this world. And you can see almost immediately when you remove your hood, like there have already been some Valiants who are like standing by the grave and like, you know, holding their head solemnly, but you remove your hood and a lot of them actually like gasp, and some of them immediately kneel, like in your direction. There's also a few that like gasp and they almost seem a little like uneased. And they sort of like shift in their armor a little bit. Even Theor sort of like staring at you. There's sort of like a hard swallow, not like a lot of emotion stretches across his face, but there is sort of like a flash of recognition that happens behind him, behind his eyes.
So after I cast light, I'm going to kneel, and I'm going to take some of the dirt from one side of the grave, and I'm going to sprinkle it over top. And then I stand up.
As you stand, Theor turns back to the rest of the funerary rite. Cat butt on stream. The funerary rites. Tetrios is a fine enough divine to pledge the eternal soul of Rios. I'm sure he will find some semblance of peace with the Lord of Storms and Order.
The Lord in Storms of Order is also very just, and if Ross decides that he worships a different god, he will let him pass where he needs to go.
Theor nods, takes one back, last look at the grave and the light emanating out from it. Musadi, are you playing along this whole time, or are you waiting until like a certain moment?
Yeah, I'm playing along the entire time. And when I noticed that Viola put down the hood, I just smirked to myself, and I'm playing a song of loneliness and longing.
A few of the Valiants moved from the service, from the song, choke back a few tears, except for some of the more stalwart who just sort of stare stoically onward. But they all wait until the emanation of the light spell begins to slowly fade. It's almost like, at this point, they're watching the light drain from the sword, almost as if they're watching the last bit of Ross's, presence in this material plane also fade from this world. So they give it all the time it needs for the spell to run its course until the light winks out of existence and leaves the sword barren and unbrightened in the soil. And then Theor nods. All right, that's as best as we can do for him. He deserved every bit of it and more. Everyone to your places. You need to be ready by tomorrow morning. And it just immediately sort of whips on his heels and begins marching back towards camp and yelling some commands, immediately going back into commander mode. You can see a lot of the Valiants do start to shuffle off in the direction that Theor's commanding, but a lot of them are still looking back towards Viola with sort of a nervous chittering and tittering between themselves, sort of whispering back and forth as they wait until they get a certain eye distance away before totally giving her their back and then walking forward.
I put my hood on, and I just start walking back.
Anybody else want to do anything at the funeral before we move on?
I want to say this entire time. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Amber.
I was just going to say this entire time, Nadara's kind of hanging in the back, not really with the crowd, just kind of observing. She sees Viola take her hood off, and she kind of mumbles on her breath, and she's like, oh, it makes sense now. And that's it.
Okay. I think with that, we will conclude the funeral, and I will say that everyone gets a point of inspiration for everything that you've done, role-playing with each other, with me, giving a funerary rite. That seems worth it. Everyone gets a point of inspiration. And everyone works their... Oh.
And we get another point of inspiration because Passive Spy just gave it to everybody.
Spy!
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
So with that, the mood at camp has sort of returned to somewhat of normalcy. At least now everyone can rest somewhat easy knowing that Rios has been found and been laid to rest. And now everything seems to be preparing for the morrow morning. As you learned previously, what y'all are planning on doing is taking a series of platform boats down the river proper and be delivered via waterway to Danareth. Is the current going plan. So yes, so everyone is going to be back at camp. Do you have any business that you want to take in preparation of tomorrow's journey or with each other now that the funeral's concluded and Viola has revealed her divine origins?
I'm gonna go sit down next to Miss Adia and be like, was that dumb? Was that stupid? I mean, I wanted to be really reverent. But now, with the way that they're looking at me, I don't think that was the right move.
I mean, Viola, baby, you knew that was gonna happen when you took off that hood.
No, but it felt right in the moment. It doesn't feel... Now I feel a little apprehensive. I was able to just walk around, back at home and...
Right, but then you took off the hood, right? And now they think you're a god.
Well, I don't think I'm a god. They just think I'm god adjacent. It's very different. That's a little blasphemous. I'm not a god.
So what are you gonna do now? You're gonna go about giving them blessings?
I don't think that's smart. I think they might.
They're staring at you right now.
I know, but I think
As Musadi says that, and there are some who are they're looking at a book, and as soon as Musadi points something, and they look down, or they try to look like they're not watching Viola very intently.
I turn and I like wave. God. Do you think I should go give them a? I mean, I don't know. I don't want them to be. I don't want them to see me as like an aggressor. Like I don't want to be I want them to be able to come to me if they want to. Like, I'm here. I don't know.
Viola, baby, you gotta do what your gut tells you. You already took up that damn hood.
I did.
They know.
I know they know. Yeah. So with that, I'm gonna stand up, and I'm just gonna tap Musadee on the shoulder, just like a pat. And I'm just gonna say, "Hey, will you just like have my eyes on this, just in case it goes sour?"
As she says that, I nod, and then I'm looking immediately to the sister with the gold earrings. I'm just trying to figure out where she's at. But yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And so then I just head over to the two that, or is how many were there? How many were there?
Oh yeah, we'll say it's the two dwarves I mentioned earlier that were playing cards. They're like looking at their like card game very intently, or at least pretending that they are.
So I'm just gonna walk over, and I'm just gonna say, I don't believe we formally met. My name is Viola. I'm sorry to interrupt your card game. I just want to let you know that.
Yeah, and you're not interrupting anything. A servant of Tetrios, god-blooded. You couldn't interrupt if you tried. And like the one is like definitely like in a sort of like a supplicant way. The other one has a look about his face which insinuates he might not all be there, and sort of just like smiles idly. It's like, yeah, no, you're good.
Okay, you both look a little nervous, and I just want to make sure that you know that I would never do anything to make anyone feel uncomfortable, and I'm really sorry if I made you feel that way.
Uncomfortable? No. If anything, your presence is a great comfort, isn't it, Arvin? Isn't it? Yeah, no, it's nice. Just sort of like smiles like idly, and then turns back around. I'm Tharker. The woman dwarf says. She's got wavy brown hair, thick mutton chops on the side. Definitely seems to be the one that's like winning this card game, but has a good friend in Arvin. And says, actually, if you don't mind, I've never met someone God-touched before. What do the gods have in store for us?
I wish that was how it worked. Tetrios gives me signs in beautiful ways. However, he doesn't give me signs for everything. I wish I was more like, I could use him as a seer, and I could see into the future and tell you what's in store for each person. But I can tell you with certainty that he gives signs that are clear as day, and right now he's not giving me any signs.
And to this she seems a little perplexed and like looks at Arvin, who also shares her look of confusion, but maybe just more so reflecting it, more so than like actually experiencing it for himself, and then looks back towards her. But the gods are distant. They've not set foot on the material plane, and that's why the god touched you here. You're their voice. You're their arm. Who are we to turn to if they're not speaking through you?
Yes, I definitely understand where you're coming from. But you have to remember that I'm also a person, right? Like, I'm a person, but I'm also a god touch. So he does speak through me, but he is not my voice at all times. And he doesn't speak through me always. He doesn't always talk all the time.
And this seems to sort of deeply affect her. I think, I know as the Dungeon Master, but you can infer, especially being Asmar as long as you have, there's definitely an expectation of a servant of the gods amongst the mortal realms, and for those who cannot see proof of their gods in the everyday world very often, to be considered a harbinger in that way gives a lot of people hope and solace, and looks, sort of casts her gaze down. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that you weren't you.
No.
I know you're you. I thought
No. I wish I could give you everything you're looking for. You know, I want to give everyone exactly what they're looking for, the sign that they want. But sometimes they're not as present as we want them to be. Believe me, there are times that I want him to tell me exactly what I need to do, and he is doing his God thing. He's a very busy man, I guess.
So if you're Tetrios' servant on the mortal plane, but he's not telling you what to do, how do you know what to do if you're doing his will?
Well, a lot of it is just believing, right? So I am always looking for the next way to make him happy, and he gives me these signs in beautiful dreams. So the next dream that I have, I definitely will be able to talk to you about it. But he doesn't talk to me every day, but when he does, it's very clear.
And she sort of nods, somewhat being placated by this answer, and like looks almost plaintively towards Arvin, who has that ever blissful smile on his face, and just like, yeah, Tharker, sometimes you just gotta feel it, you know? It's all around us, it's, you know, it's more
See,
than
this
us.
guy gets it.
It's, you know? Yeah, no, that's, insightful, Arvin, thank you. And thank you,
I know,
my lady.
yeah, I know it's not the most exciting thing to hear. You know, everybody wants to hear, oh, Tetrios wants me to go on top of that mountain. But sometimes he just says, I like the rain. And then you're like, okay, what does that mean? And you have to interpret that. So it's nice and beautiful and cryptic, and we love that.
And she nods and shrugs her shoulders. The scripture does say that the divines work in mysterious ways. I just didn't think that applied to everyone, so...
Believe me, I wish that it was a little bit more clear sometimes, but we're all here to work together.
And she nods. At any rate, I'm thankful for your presence here, and thank you for what you did for us and for Rios.
Of course. I'm gonna head back to my camp. If you all need anything, you know where I'll be. I hope you have a great night.
Don't worry, I am. Says Arvin, just like nodding. Like he's like practically, he's like shuffling his hand, and you can see half of the cards are backwards. Just
What he's having, am I right?
And Tharker nods and like heads back to the game and like sees that he's holding the cards backwards and like literally picks them up and flips them and puts them back into his hand the right way. It's like, that's not, and starts like re-explaining the rules to him as you draw farther and further away. Also, by the way, just want to say, Mochi hopped into chat while we were going through that scene. Hey, Moch, good to have
What's
you.
up, Mochi?
As always, good to have you.
While Viola was talking to the dwarves, I want to go find Yoan.
Ooh. Oh, and Mochi just gave everybody inspiration. Hey, bless up.
Oh my god, yay!
Yeah, get rich on that inspiration now before I throw
y'all
another
don't know how much I'm
Yes.
stockpiling this. That's so much.
Oh, I just heard make all the fights harder is what I heard.
Oh.
No.
Sorry, what? No, I'm kidding. Nadara's going to find Yoan, who may or may not still be playing with a squishy light orb.
I think it's probably a safe bet that he has surrounded himself with a couple of the other like Knights of the Order, just to be like, oh, you know, to see, like, I'll do it again, okay.
They're like,
Push.
oh.
You want to hold it? There you go.
No, actually, but you can squish it. You can squish it.
Give it a squish. Go.
Did Yoan attend the funeral?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, great. Nadar is gonna just sit across from you and say, "So, Viola's and Asma, what do you make of this?"
Well, I'm a tiefling. What do you make of that?
I mean, I do bad things for a living. I mean, but isn't it interesting that we've traveled together this entire time, and this is the first time we've really seen it?
I don't know that that's true. Not that we haven't seen it, but I don't think it's strange. Don't you think? And he sort of gestures to his horns and his like red skin. He's like, if I could do something about this, it would make things a bit easier, I would expect.
I bet. And then she kind of like gestures to her entire being, being a drow. I guess we've all got secrets and things.
Some are just a
interesting,
bit easier to hide, aren't they?
Exactly. And I think with that, are we like in a where are we? Where is this happening?
You're at camp, so you can narrate wherever you want to be. Really, as long you don't have like your own private tent per se. You have like a couple of lean-tos like near like an overhang of a tree with like a windshield. But if you want to walk, pace around to different parts of the camp, you could.
That's fine. She's just kind of like wander off for a little bit, like just our eyes and things like that. And she's gonna return to Yowen and go, "Have you ever been on a boat before?"
Have I ever been on a boat before? I feel like I'm trying to remember where exactly he's from geographically. There's from Yarenhall, around Yarenhall. What's
It's mostly
body of water situation?
Oh, funny you should ask. So Yarenhall is located towards the south of Mira. And you would know there is obviously some places where you can catch a boat there. That being said, as I try to pull up the exact description, which by the way, if you go to our Discord, we have all of the various parts of Mira described, including gods and all this fun stuff. But you would know that while most of the water around Yarenhall is sailable, there is a very particular stretch of it which is known as the Searing Sea. And it is where Fury's Maw, sort of the great volcano that ruptured and took out a lot of the southern part of the world in ages past, erupted with magical fury and bled into the water and has ensorcelled it in such a way that it is like a sea of magma. And only very particular kinds of vessels which are magically enchanted to withstand such heinous conditions could even bear to make it through that water, quote unquote, without burning almost immediately.
So not so much. And Yoan responds, I hadn't really thought about it. I suppose I haven't. Have you?
I have not. Not much looking forward to it either.
Well, I have to imagine it's better being above the water than in it with more of, and he holds up the kelp eye just to give it a squish.
Oh, the kelp eye, kelpie. Oh, you sneaky son of a gun.
I would have to agree with you there. What's it?
Loki posted in the chat the question of the day. Out of all the things you've bought in life, what do you consider to be your worst purchase? And Ailing says, you're asking me to choose from a list of bad life choices. Loki said, give me a moment. We have to rifle through it. I'll tell you what was my worst purchase right now is this gosh dang room divider that I'm trying to return, and I don't have the right box for it. They're making it really hard for me to return it, but I don't need it anymore. I'm upset about it. Anyway. So we had oh.
No, go ahead. I was just gonna answer the question.
Oh yeah. Oh, answer away. Question of the day. Go ahead.
Oh yeah. No, mine is definitely this automatic litter box I brought. It's the worst thing in the entire world. I'm so mad at this litter box. Spent so much money on it. It's worse than a regular litter box. I thought I was gonna save myself from scooping, and smells. It's all smell and still cleaning as much as I cleaned my litter box before, so it's the worst. And it's huge. It looks like a spaceship. Yeah, it's the litter robot. This is the big ass box I have right here. The worst. Don't ever buy it.
Ailing says, thanks for the warning, not getting it now. you saved someone. You've saved someone a purchase.
I mean, yeah, it's been on my list for a minute, so I'm glad to hear. Also, like, I had a friend's cat that liked to, like, jump in the middle of it spinning and just, like, piss while it was, like, spinning.
What?
I was like, there's, like, horror stories for me.
That's bad.
Oh my god. Okay, woof, that's a visual. That is a visual that I never thought I'd have in my head. Alright, so as Nadara and Yoan ponder about the complexities of heritages and ancestries and legacies, and Musaddi is finding his way towards a fisherwoman valiant, and Viola shares thoughts of the cosmos with some dwarves. Anything else that we want to do? No? Nope. All right. We'll say around this time, Percy and Theor, I don't know why I'm having such a hard time remembering Theor's name today, arrive back to where the party is situated. And Percy gives a sheepish glance in Musaddi's direction and kind of like casts his eyes to the side, like wanting to be present but still feeling a little bashful around the bard. As Theor says, we're preparing the boats, the vessels, for tomorrow's journey. It'll be more than a few days going downriver. We'll make a few stops along the way to resupply when necessary, but brace yourselves, there's going to be a lot of water ahead. And I don't imagine it will be an easy journey, as you've seen firsthand. Mira does have its way of surprising us at every turn.
I have proficiency in water vehicles, so I can't wait to help you with that.
Is that how you pronounce it?
That's exactly how I said it.
Theor's, I have proficiency in understanding what that means, so thank you.
I wink.
Nods, well then, I'm sure you will be a more than competent deckhand and a fine sailor in our midst. Thank you.
You got another one over there. I point at Musaddi.
Theor turns to face Musaddi and kind of like looks up and down, you know, the flamboyant clothing, the loot. You spent some time on a boat.
No, she's lying.
Is that a deception check?
Yeah, let's do it persuasion.
Alright, yeah, do deception.
Oh yeah, you said deception, right?
Yes, because I'm pretty sure that is a blatant lie when it comes to Musaddi.
I don't think it matters because I rolled 17.
Ooh. Looks at you, sort of like looks at Viola, who sends his attention over to Musaddi. Musaddi's like, nah, I've never been on a boat, and then like confusedly looks back at Viola. I don't really know what the point of that was, but hope you had your fun.
I look just as confused. Lying? Lying? I don't get it.
looks back at Musaddi.
Just mind my business. I don't know what you're talking about.
I just shrug and say, whatever. He's doing his thing.
Well, at least you've proved your sword arms and spell arms more worthy than your tales of yourselves, he says, like shaking his head kind of confused. I'll come fetch you in the morning if there's nothing else. And then Percy nods. If it's all the same to my fine friends here, I was thinking I should spend a little time with my uncle, discuss things to come, things that were, you know, family business.
Please.
Yeah, sure.
All right, well.
As they turn away, I try to whisper to Viola, I'm not doing no damn work extra.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to blow up your spot like that. My fault.
Okay, as long as we know.
I love that Musadee is like a very prodigious sailor. He's like, nah, I'm good. Y'all can handle it. That's good. That's great. Oh, okay. All right, so everyone's gonna bed down for the night? Ooh.
If I can take hoop earrings, is it okay if I'm just like, hey, just show me how you live? And I grab her hand and take it to the tent.
All right, give me a persuasion check to see if you.
Now if I roll bad, hey.
I mean, listen, we have like 3 points of inspiration, so.
Oh no!
We do.
I love that this is what we're using the inspiration
Oh,
on.
wait. Yeah, I know. I was about to say, does it mean anything if you have to use points of inspiration to it?
I'm gonna use whatever I need. I roll the 4, okay? I'm using a point of inspiration.
Loki says quality content. This is what we came to the D&D stream to see. The bard.
So,
Horny people
Yeah.
playing D&D.
Yep.
I rolled a 4 and then I rolled a 7. Am I allowed to use another point of inspiration, or do I have to use the 7? Because I'll keep using it.
You can only use them once per roll, unfortunately, Musadee.
So I rolled a total of 12.
A total of 12. Mochi said, "Wait, did someone say horny?" Yeah, I mean, she says, "You say, show me how you live," to her, and she's like packing up her fishing supplies, and sort of smiles and says, "I think you've seen enough, and maybe if you help us live through this, you'll see something else." And just like turns away and begins walking back towards her own tent.
It's not a no, it's just a not now.
I'm just gonna eat that.
Nadara's gonna snicker under her breath. She's
All right. Anybody else doing anything else? Anyone trying to seduce anyone else before we go?
So I'm gonna go to the
Go to the dwarves. Yeah. All right, everyone set? All right. So what I'm gonna need for the gang, since I was smart enough to remember our watch order, which I didn't do last time, but this time I did. We are gonna do our watch stuff. Mochi says, "Find me down the emoji mile." Mochi's been asking the Magic 8-Ball all these questions about Valentine's Day lately, so we'll see what fate has in store. Okay, perfect. Marching order, watch order. Okay, so for watch I have Viola, Musadee, Zorvarax. Okay, so Viola's up first. Viola, if you could be so kind. So the rest of the party is going to find their way into a place of slumber. You watch as Musadee has to take that momentary L, and then you can. Do you trade any words to Musadee as you take watch as you see the Fisher Knight walk away? Oh, Viola, I think you're muted.
Duh. No, I just slap him on the ass and I say, "Good game."
All right, so give me a perception check.
Okay. Oh, that's an 18.
18, okay. Viola, you watch late into the evening. Well, the beginning of the evening, actually. There's a couple of you watching. Your party members rest peacefully. You can see some of the members of the Valiants milling about preparing things for the next day, but otherwise rather uneventful. However, the next person in the watch order is Musadee, so you nudge him to awaken him. Do you trade any words as you're trading watch?
I looked at him and I go, "Did you sleep well? Trying to get out of your watch?"
I did actually. Thank you very much. Then I just scuttled away to do my.
It kind of sounded like you were crying.
So embarrassing.
Musadee's got great material for a new song. That's just what the heartbreak breeds a good new song.
And it's not heartbreak. It's just like you said, not right now.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, it's
Who
true.
knows?
It's true. She didn't completely turn you down. She just said later, maybe.
Exactly. That's gonna be a definite.
Yeah, it's something to look forward to if we don't die. And then I'm gonna say, do you need anything from me before?
I guess before I go on my watch, how did that conversation with the dwarves go?
Well, I mean, look, it's always really hard for people who have a lot of faith in me to hear that I am not all-knowing, right? Marked by a god, but not always a conduit, if you will. But that's you already know that that's why I'm here. That's why I'm on this mission, is to try to reinforce my bond.
Right. But you do all this advocacy, but for what? Like, what do you get in return? What do you get in return?
I mean, this is what I'm built for. This is what I'm made to do. It's not about what I get in return, it's what I give.
Right, but there's only so much you can give, Viola, baby.
I've got a lot more to give, though. I feel like I get the real people that are staying in my life, like y'all.
We don't know them. We don't know them.
You're right,
They
but I
don't
know
know them.
you. I know you. I know Yoan. I know Dara. I know Gray. I know Zorvrax. Hell, I know Percy mostly. I mean, he's kind of small, but it's fine.
I hope you find what you're looking for.
Me too. Don't we all want to find what we're looking for? Isn't that why we're all here?
I will do my watch.
All
Go
right.
to bed.
Perception check.
Wow, I am rolling incredible. So I rolled a 4. I'm so sorry. If we get ambushed, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
He was distracted.
yeah, but he's just watching the tent where she left, like in the distance. It's like, are you on watch? Yes, I watched all night. Nothing happened.
Yeah, I rolled a 4.
Okay, that means Musadi's gonna trade watch with Nadara, since our other party members are not here. So as Nadara wakes from slumber and trades positions, do you have anything to say to each other?
Yes, Nadara's gonna just look at him and go easy on Percy.
My sweet pale rose, what do you see in him? Like, what do you see in him? I see you gasping all the time.
I see a man that is going to pay us very handsomely at the end of this.
So you're using it?
Do you know who I am?
I don't know you.
You know what? You're right. It's fine. You will come to find out soon. But we have a job. Let's complete it. Maybe don't hurt the man who's supposed to pay us. His feelings are fragile.
And you're manipulative.
Oh, absolutely. I've trained my entire life to be this way. And you are a terrible swimmer.
I don't think I like you either.
You wouldn't be the first.
I'm gonna go to my tent.
Talking about Percy, Ailing says he's a puppy, and Loki says it's okay. Nadara's just in denial. She's really shooting for this ship. Really shooting for it.
I guess with that, I'll stop my watch.
All right, perception check.
Okay. All right, perception. Where is my perception?
Usually under wisdom. If it depends on your character sheet. Some of them they divide up into stats.
Ah, thank you.
Yeah.
I just saw it. Okay, that was a natural 1. I'm gonna use a point of inspiration.
Yes, okay.
Okay, one more time.
Second verse, same as the first.
Okay, not that bad. I mean, not that good either. 12.
Solid. Okay. You watch the fire. You know, it's beginning to die down. You see a pale light on the horizon, but it's not quite broken into morning. But nothing exciting. And it looks like you're going to be trading watch now. Yoan's about to stir. Do you have any words to trade for Yoan?
Did you find out anything about that Kelpie eye?
Oh, you're on mute, just so you know, Yoan, before you get into role-playing mode.
Of course I am. I don't think anything you don't already know. He already has it out, and he's gonna squish, squish. He's about to go on watch. Need a little light source.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Good luck.
All right,
And then I'm
Yoan.
going to go to bed. Or back to bed.
Yeah, back to bed.
I'm gonna burn some inspiration because I'm sitting on a pile. Of
Yeah.
We've had a hard enough day. Oh Jesus, 6.
Whoa, someone is doing something. What happened? Someone fed beans? Oh no, someone helped, I think, upgrade beans, breed beans? Yeah, beans beans turned pink. Beans was pink now.
I didn't realize this was that kind
Breed them?
of stream.
You can
Well,
breed it.
that's what the nomenclature of the dragon app says. I don't know. They change. They hatch from eggs. I don't know how you want to say
You go on Reddit, use that nomenclature.
Is it pregnant now?
All I'm saying, Viola has a... Wait, what? 1 credit to help beans. Viola says you have a baby Ewok. Oh, yeah. I was like, what are you talking about? Yeah, no, literally looks like a baby Ewok.
This is Chewy.
Yeah, and it is Chewy, which is close. All right, so grand total of 6, I hear, for the perception check.
That's correct.
Okay. Yoan, you squish and click your Kelpie eye until morning breaks. But nothing that you see exciting has happened. The next morning, as the camp is stirring and getting ready, you can hear Yoan. You can hear Theor shouting like, "All right, everyone, pack up those sails. Make sure that's boxed up tight. I want to make sure we are lined up by," and just yelling all these things. There is a sudden hush amongst the crowd. And you can see that a lot of the Valiant's eyes are turning towards Theor, who is going over the provisions, and suddenly the tone becomes very harsh and very startled, and whips around on his heels. "Where is it? Where is it? That was supposed to be up. We cannot turn around now. Where is it?" And just marching up and towards the camp, "Who was on watch? Who was the last to see this?" And just going up and down the rows.
It wasn't me. I rolled an 18.
Well, okay, more.
What is missing?
Yeah, that's...
Sorry, I'm just watching this poor dragon be continually mutated as people are giving it more bits, trying to desperately make it cuter, but it just is getting more horrifying each time.
I mean, it is a little hot mess.
It's a little hot mess. He's our hot mess, though. Beans the dragon. Also, 20th OD jumped into chat. Hi, 20th. Good to see you.
Hello.
So you are asking what's missing?
Yeah, what is missing?
You turn around and Violet, you said you know what's missing?
The fucking thing. The thing we're supposed to get. The big thing that we've been transporting is fucking gone.
Theor does, of course, turn around on his heels. "What do you think would cause such a commotion? The package, what we're taking to Danareth, it's gone!"
I mean, it's pretty big. I feel like it doesn't... It's right? I feel like it's got to be more than one person had to transport it.
Well, that I don't doubt, but some ones who were able to get into our camp, who were able to maneuver themselves through our very... And just is racking his mind, sort of stamping his foot into the earth, trying to work this out.
Where was it? Let's take a look at where it was. It can't have been moved without leaving some sort of trace.
Fair enough. Good to start at the beginning as any place. You there, and it starts barking out orders. "Make sure there is a fixed perimeter. I want you to look all around both sides of camp. I want to make sure there's no one coming in or out until this is located," and just shouting, and then barks commands at the rest of the Valiants, and they lead Theor and the party towards where they were. The wagon was sort of being converted for water travel. They're sort of like removing the oh my god, everybody's trying to change the dragon now. Everybody is like desperately trying to change the dragon. We'll see. Yeah, there's no guarantee it'll get any cuter. It'll change, but no guarantee it'll get any cuter. Taking off the wheels to convert it for transport on the platform boats. The last place was last seen being moved from the wagon, converted wagon, to the platform boats.
Is it okay if Musadi? Is it okay if Musadi asks Theo, how much do you trust your people?
And Theor obviously looks immediately sort of taken aback. These are the Valiants. They have sworn oaths. They have sworn their lives to the service of Mira. I trust them.
Right. But like, do you trust them though?
And he sort of like looks up and down you. I already have a feeling that you've not been entirely forthright with me, as he cuts a glance to Viola and like back to Musadi. But I deal in only truths. I speak plainly and I speak firmly. I said I trust them and I trust them.
Okay.
So when was the last time that we for sure saw it? Did someone check in on it before we went to bed?
And so Theor turns towards some of the attendants, and of course Percy is like maybe a couple feet off, like hands clasped in his lap, like shaking violently. This was like the one thing he was supposed to do for his uncle, and somehow it's managed to get botched. So he is utterly distraught in this moment. Says, of course, we had a series of attendants. We marked the package. We marked the itinerary. He pulls out a sheet, a scroll. You can see it was accounted for by this hour before the conversion of the wagon, and was just sort of marking off all the times, essentially proclaiming that it was accounted for. Last time it was brought to the camp, it was accounted for before they started mounting things for travel.
And did we have someone appointed to watch it exactly? Or did you just have someone appointed nearby? Or was that supposed to be us? Because you didn't communicate that with us. I just want to say, you never told us that we were supposed to be watching that thing. And if we were, I'm sure we would have watched it more and better.
Theor cuts a long glance at you. I'm sure you would have done a fine job, but no, we had multiple people stationed on the outskirts of the camp right before the brace of the package.
I figured you would. You're very thorough. That's what I like about you.
Well, I hope you understand that if you're to be paid for the delivery of a package which is no longer here, then our new objective is to now find the package.
Nadara
That makes
groans.
Can Yoan start poking around where that sort of in-between area where it was getting loaded?
Yeah, absolutely.
With investigation?
With investigation,
I'm
absolutely.
going to throw another inspiration at this. Nat 20, baby.
Ooh,
25.
Hey!
25. Yoan, you see, you take a look around the surrounding area where, once again, they're loading things by the riverbank, right? So it looks like, and it's, Riverholm is sort of constantly awash with a light drizzle of rain, as you can hear, and the riverbank. So the soil is a bit wet and a bit loose. You notice something peculiar. You can see on the platforms where they were loading boxes and crates that there seems to be traces of muddy boot prints on some of the wood, which insinuates to a certain degree that they didn't come from the direction of camp, because they would have been on the hard soil where the camp is resting. But you're looking towards where these tracks might be going. You can see that they're clearly arranged around the packages, but suddenly they're gone, right? And then as you sort of, because you rolled a 25, I'm gonna say that you get all of this. You sort of loop back around towards the edge of the river, and you can see there's a huge gap of space right? So there's Prince, nothing, 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 for about like 30 odd feet, and then Prince again, which like then disappear into the foliage. And it doesn't, and it looks like not just one set of Prince. It looks like at least maybe 2 or 3 people.
Yoan waves everybody over to show them, and as people get closer, oh no, don't step there, not there. Like, stay away from the footprints. Come now. Don't muddy things up.
Footprints? What do you mean? Show me.
He shows him the footprints, the lack thereof, and then the footprints again, or the boot prints.
So what do you mean to say they leapt 30 feet?
Smells like a misty step to me. I just, yeah.
There are certain magics that would allow for this. I'm sure there's an entire bevy of explanations, but that's the only evidence we have in front of us is these, not these, and then these again.
So you claim to say that we've been swindled by some sort of sorcerers?
Wouldn't be the first time on this journey. Oh, it wouldn't be the first time on this journey.
Wait,
And Yoan just rubs his temples.
what do you mean?
Oh, are those guys? Are those bad guys? Is it those
got it
the
here.
Forgotten or whatever?
Oh yeah, that's the
Wow,
cadre of
man.
vanished mages.
The rotten,
Dust
the rotten and
Ugh.
forgotten.
The dust rats.
The band of brothers.
You're just like
Oh, here we
actively
go.
rattling off these names until one hits.
It was the a group of rather ne'er-do-well magic users, rejects from
The
the
Forsaken!
Mysterium, known as the Forsaken.
Yeah, I just found it
too. Percy's head perks up, remembering the Forsaken stopping your cart mid-travel. Yes, but we ran them off. They ran frightened, scared. They wouldn't come back. Certainly.
Percy, they literally said we would likely run into them again in Riverhome. I think we've run into them again, Percy.
These fuckers.
And Theor sort of hangs his head. I have unfortunately heard tales of magical bandits that plagued the Riverhome, but a bold and brazen move to come into our camp in cover of darkness.
Well, they were fairly bold and brazen. That helps confirm it.
How did they get around the guard? Did they misty step, or like, did they use magic around them, or do we know that yet, or are we just?
Theor looks at Viola. I believe if we had those answers, then we wouldn't be standing here talking about the Forsaken, now would we?
Listen, do not snap at me. Do not use that tone with me. I did not take your fucking box.
See if you can persuade him out of his coarse mood right now.
Listen,
little
Viola
fast.
is not persuasive. But she's cute.
Is there anyone that can help too? Like maybe like stand next to Viola when they're saying that, you know what I mean? Just as like moral support, because like this dude's been on my nerve too. You know what I
Oh
mean?
wait, I just rolled a 17.
Wait.
Oh, and a point of inspiration for Viola. I mean, why not go ahead and roll it again? Thank you, Loki. No, it's a 17.
This is
But
17.
thank you.
As you sort of snap back at Theor, he sort of like looks.
I wink.
Sort of like looks like repelled for a moment, like not expecting you to return his ire, and then says, "I apologize. You are not a member of this retinue, and I should not speak to you as such. You still are under our pay, all things considered. My word still does ring true. We cannot move forward until the package is procured." And you can see, like, some of the other Valiants around you are, like, looking at each other like, like, yes, hopefully this sinks in. Yes. We no longer want to be yelled at by Theor, yes. Well, you all are the resident investigators here. Where would you start?
I'm gonna roll a survival. Will a survival check help me like find anything?
Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
Cool. Well, I guess. I guess I should ask you this: Are we?
Yeah, go ahead.
Are you trying to make any more rolls or investigate anything around the missing location, or are you planning on heading out and trying to find a heading on them?
I kind of wanted to look around the missing location.
Okay, so then if that's the case, what exactly are you looking for before I call for survival?
Maybe I don't know. I don't know. I was looking between my because my investigation check is +0 and my survival check is a +3.
Well, so yeah, survival will definitely help you when you're actually trying to trail them in the wilderness, but investigation is more like for clues.
Okay. All right. Well, would perception help me at this point to see if they're still around or no?
Possibly.
I mean, the way you said that didn't make it sound like it was.
Whoa, I hear a rumble and a vroom vroom.
Oh yeah, that is a loud motorcycle outside my building. I rolled a 9.
A 9, okay. I mean, as far as you can see, Yoan has uncovered any sort of visible residue, that you would be able to immediately see with your eyes from his very, very high investigation check.
Can we tell how old these footprints are?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think that would definitely...
That'd be a good survival
Yeah, I
one.
think that's a good survival one, for sure.
Okay, I suck at survival, but here we go. Let's see. I still got points of inspiration, though.
I just want to put it out there. I bet you that damn frog know. I bet you if we went back to the frog. I bet you will know. I bet you.
I bet he won't tell us. So.
There's that too. Let's see. I rolled a 4, so 1 point of inspiration.
Okay.
Please hold. Oh my goodness, we're just burning through these tonight.
Well, yeah, they're giving them to you, so you might as well use them.
Oh! I rolled a 2. I know nothing.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely, it's mud, so it isn't fully dried dirt, so you can imagine it's not too fresh, but you have no idea what hour, how long they could have gotten ahead of you before they disappeared.
Okay. Yep.
Okay, so hear me out. Can I talk to my girlfriend for bait and then find the frog and say, hey, I got bait. Did you see people walking away with the cow package?
Loki just gave everyone inspiration, just so you know. Thank you, Loki. So you're going to go to the Fisher Knight to get bait, and then, okay.
Yes. Ask the frog if they saw something.
Well, you can see, so she is currently, she would not be allowed to fish in this moment. Camp is on, high alert, but she's, bundling up all of her fishing supplies. And, you see her, she sees you approach, and, she looks over her shoulder and kind of, smiles in spite of herself and then looks back down towards her equipment. Don't you have other things to be worried about other than bothering me? She says, but she does smile somewhat. It's more of it's not like she's actually perturbed, just kind of poking fun.
Sorry, body baby, can I borrow a worm?
She kind of smiles and squints her eyes this isn't a line or anything. This isn't you're not trying to make a weird pun or something.
No, not this time. I really need a worm. I really need a worm.
Give me a persuasion check. I will give you inspiration because I do think that she thinks this is somewhat cute, as weird as it is.
Yes, sir. Hey.
She's okay. So she smiles and she says, "I can do you one better." And then she says, "Hold out your hand and close your eyes."
Hold my hand, close my eyes.
And you just feel a massive wriggling lump plop into your hand as she hands you like an entire writhing mass of worms and grubs and insects and says, "Is that what you were expecting?"
So he just moans, and then let's go look for the frog.
All right, so you... Ailing says, "I leap for a second, and what?" We're just flirting over a ball of worms. Don't mind us. So Musadi, you got a... Oh, Viola, what do you got?
While that was all happening, we were granted 2 more.
Whoa! Oh my gosh!
Damn! Oh my god!
Everyone's
Y'all
been
are
storing
lit
up
tonight.
those channel points.
Oh my gosh! Wow! Yeah, we've got him.
Ailing says, "Eat the worms." All right, so you are gonna walk towards the water's edge and try to find a frog. I'm assuming you're gonna cast. What do you have? Speak with animals? Is that what you have?
Something like that. It was speak with animals. Yes,
Okay.
level 1.
All right, so give me. First of all, give me an animal handling check. I'll give you advantage on this since you have some worms with you that you can coax.
I swear to God. This is not me. This is fate. So this is my frog. I'm snatching this frog. I promise you.
so
Musadi, frog redemption here.
Yeah, I know.
Musadi, you walk towards the edge of the bank and you're like wriggling the frogs and you cast Speak with Animals. So for a moment, it's like all around you you're hearing like the chirping of birds and the ribbits of frogs and like and maybe even the errant barking of a Chewy dog in the distance. But as you like whisper this incantation to yourself, it's almost as if the sounds of the world shift and change inside of your mind. And like all the chirping birds, like the beautiful like tweet, 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 suddenly turns into like, "Oh my god, I'm so tired. Oh, I know, it's such a long day." Like you just like suddenly hear like their actual thoughts and feelings. And like as you're like walking towards the edge of the riverbank with like your handful of worms, you're like dangling them around like... Like, hey, you see, like, from the edge of the muddy banks, there's, like, one little gurgle of under the water. And then another. And then another. And then another. And with that natural 20, just plopping over towards you in, like, in droves, it's like a good maybe dozen frogs. Just all, like, bloop, 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 bloop. And they all sort of, like, stand very attentively underneath you. Worms? 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 Just sort of all sort of staring like expectantly up at this huge ball of bait.
My friends, a pack went missing last. I'm specifically looking for a toad that I talked to the other day. I'm gonna call him Poops. Anybody see Poops? There's Poops here.
And they all like cast their head towards like one particularly rotund toad that's like taking a while to hobble. I did not think this NPC was going to be coming back, by the way. Here is D&D at its finest. You see the toad plop its way up. "Yeah, I'm the one they call Poops. Poops a frog, that's me."
Poops. I need your help, Poops. Again, we meet again. I have frogs this time. I mean, I have, excuse me.
Yeah, you got frogs. I see them.
Poops. I'm back. I have a request. We're missing a package. It disappeared overnight, and I was hoping that did anybody of your friends see them? I just.
And so Poops like Poops, by the way.
It's cute.
Sort of like looks at you, like eyes you, like tilts his head to the side. "Yeah, I might have seen something, but I'm feeling a little peckish."
Okay. So I take one worm from the gobble of worms that I have. I throw it to Poops.
It's in midair. His tongue shoots out like a whip and snatches it. Like it's in his mouth. Like half of it is hanging out. He's like,
Delicious, I know. Delicious. Okay, Poops. What did you say?
I don't know. I still feel a little hole in the bottom of my belly. Might help mend my memory, you know what I'm saying?
Poops, I'll give you one more worm. And if you don't help me, I'm going to take these worms back to my girlfriend. Okay.
Fair enough. Let me see that worm.
Okay. So I split the worm that I have in half, and I throw him half of the worm.
Like another whip shot, pops it into his mouth. Half now and half later, huh? You strike a hard bargain. Alright, I'll cut you in. Poops, the keen eye that I've got, saw maybe about half a dozen so of these scrawny, gray-cloaked types. Hoods on. They appeared out of the mist like they were made of mist themselves. They got their way towards the edge of the camp, half sight unseen in the darkness, and then suddenly, whoosh, they were gone. Whoosh! Another second, they're back on the boat, rifling around, digging around. They find themselves something special in there, whispering to themselves, all nervous like. And then, whoosh, gone again, whoosh, back on the other side of that river, and then into the mist they go. People said they don't believe me. They call Poops crazy. Poops the crazy toad, they call me. But I seen them. I seen them made of smoke, made of mist.
Yeah, that was great. That's exactly what I needed. I'm going to start just passing out the worms to the toads, but Poops, I can promise you that I will give you the grandest cuisine that you can think of if you just come with me. Just roll with me from now on. I promise you, I will show you a world that you've never seen before. I will feed you food that you have never fathomed.
By the way, chat is going crazy for this frog right now. Chat is loving this frog. You're gonna try to convince Poops the frog. These are the things that you do to yourself as a dungeon master. These are the corners you write yourself into. You're gonna try to convince Poops the frog to join the party. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Give me a persuasion check. He's gonna say, I mighty like my lily pads here. I'm mighty safe here in Riverhome. I don't know.
So I rolled a 4. I'm gonna use some inspiration. Okay. Just use one inspiration. I rolled a 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 in total.
You said you're gonna feed me the finest worms I ever did taste.
From all over, I promise.
And I ain't gonna get squished or smushed in your pockets.
No, Poops.
And I ain't gonna get eaten by like a snake or a bird or some other kind of hungry critter.
I flourish both of my knives in my hands. I promise I'll protect you.
Poops will allow you to escort him across the land.
Okay. And I bow and I allow him to hop as we go back to the party with our information.
But does he hop like into your hand, or is he just like hopping beside you?
If he's willing, again, I don't want to do too much. I don't want to give him the space. Good move as you want to move. So if he wants to hop next to me,
Poops
he can.
demands that he be carried.
Okay, no problem. I will take Poops, put him on my shoulder, and we are rocking.
He hops into your hand, and then like up, boing, 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 until he's like sitting like on your shoulder right next to you. As you march back to the party with a frog who's like still chewing and like mulling over like a mouthful of 2 worms in either side of his cheek.
Cool. And then I relate information to the silver fox dude in the party.
So now, let me get this straight. You got a frog now coming with us?
No, that was gonna be my question. He told you about that. He's what?
First things first, his name is Poops. And he actually just gave us a plethora of information that we can use to figure out where the package went. So, thank you.
Oh, no. I was just making sure to see if he was coming with us.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah.
cool. Right.
Yeah.
How long does speak with animals last? because eventually it's gonna fade. Oh, Ailing says the phobia of frogs is making them real. Oh no, I'm sorry, Poops. I promise you, Poops is a good frog. Poops is a good frog. I promise. Poops ends up being able to speak regardless. Hey, if someone learns Awakening, someone cast Awakening on Poops.
I don't know that one.
So this lasts for 10 minutes.
10 minutes. Okay, so just know that anytime you want to talk to Poops, you're gonna have to re-up that.
No problem.
And so like as Poops is sitting on your shoulder and they're like, you know, like to Poop, like Poops can't understand them. So like he's sitting on your shoulder and Theo's like, you heard that from the frog, and like to Poops it's just like blah 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 blah, and then like Poops is like sitting on his shoulder. This guy sounds like a real idiot.
And I just keep feeding them worms.
Theo nods his head. All right, well, if your new friend here seems to know the way, lead it.
I didn't want to interrupt, but also Loki just said something pretty interesting in the chat. I think that Musadee should try to kiss the frog and see what happens.
That's not happening. I promise it's not happening. I promise it's not happening.
Musadee, as you're walking back with the frog on your shoulder, you see the Fisher Knight, see you come back with like the handful of bait and like a frog on your shoulder, and she like smiles and says, "Well, seems like someone's finally found themselves a date. That's cute."
Oh.
I'm just gonna smile and wink. So now, does that mean now that Poops has to lead us toward the damn Mist people?
Sure, yeah, I would take that. If the party feels like they have all the information they need to start the trailing proper.
Yeah, Yolan's
Yep,
found all the
makes sense.
tracks. It's up to the ladies now.
I cannot believe Chad is going crazy for this frog. Oh, I have made a terrible thing happen. Okay, all right. So we're gonna do a little skill challenge because y'all know how much I love my skill challenges. I will say, so Musadee, you're gonna listen to Poops, and Poops is gonna say, yeah, it's right over there on the other side of the river, and if you follow this, and you do follow their instructions, and, you know, just like Poops is described, and as Yoan originally saw, the boot prints do start on the dock, the muddy, like, dock prints, right? Disappears, then reappears on the other side of the river, and heads in a certain direction, and you can see the footprints, they start off really thick and like heavy in the mud, but as they continue forward, they kind of drift and soften until there's only faint traces of the boot prints behind, as if somehow they maneuvered almost beyond their natural weight, you know, disappeared into the mists, as Poops has said. But it does give you a bearing. So what I will say here, so you have a skill challenge ahead of you. You're going to need a couple successes before a couple failures. Musadee, because you have the guidance of Poops on your shoulder for at least 10 minutes, I will say that I will let you take the first survival check with advantage. And you can choose, the rest of the party know that you can choose to do other checks other than survival, but I'm saying because Poops specifically has shown Musadee the tracks into the wilderness, that will confer an advantage. And you can also feel free to use any other spells or class abilities or any other powers that you might have at your disposal that would increase your chance of succeeding in this endeavor.
Okay, and you said I will have advantage, right?
And you'll have advantage, yes.
So I rolled a 14 and a 10, and I have no survival bonuses, so just 14 flat.
14 flat, got you. Let me check. Let me chalk. What was that? Let me chalk. What am I talking like? Okay. So, Musaddi, as you're beginning to walk and you're following Poop's instructions, see, I told you right there. It seems to be where the... As suddenly your speak with animals dissipates and you lose the very clear instructions that Poops was once giving you. Unfortunately, that is enough to put you on a good bearing on their positions. That is actually considered one fail towards the check. So you're walking in the direction of where they were going, but you're starting to lose their tracks in the mud and the rain and the foliage. Who else do we have on deck?
Can I do like some sort of maybe perception check to see if I see maybe like if I hear anything that would indicate people, or even if I like look around, do I see any like twigs, branches, grass moved apart or something like that would indicate movement?
I would say that definitely speaks more towards survival if you're using like actual trail hunting techniques, like looking for broken branches or twigs or something. If you just want to like spot or listen, just like use your raw senses, then I would say perception. But yeah, if you're looking specifically for, you know, like if you're using like game hunting tactics, then that would be survival.
Okay, then yeah, I'll just use my ears and see if I hear anything, see anything like that. All right, let's see. I'm also immediately going to use a point of inspiration because I've been rolling so bad. So, yep, and I rolled a 3. And natural 20.
Nice!
And natural 20 plus 3, so 23.
Whew. All right. That is considered a critical success on a skill check, so you got an extra little success for yourself. Nadara, you tilt your ear, your elven ear, your keen senses, to the pitter-patter of rain all around you in Riverholm. And there does seem to be a distant but familiar sort of constant thrum, a sort of hum of energy, that sort of latent, which is only really present when certain magics are being cast. And it definitely would have been something that you might have heard in your last encounter with the Forsaken. But it does give you, it sort of points you in a new direction, and you begin guiding the party in that direction. That is a critical success.
So she's gonna look at the party and just go, you know, be aware they're definitely close. There's magic that way, and she kind of like juts her chin towards the direction as she hears it.
Loki says, "Sounds lightsabery." Yeah, that's like my default magic sound. And then you have to get the occasional, you know, when they clash. I've played with enough dollar store lightsabers to know how that works. Yes, who else has got a check?
Can Yoan try and pick up on the magical energies with some arcana?
Absolutely.
Since we have a direction on them now. I'm gonna use inspiration. Oh god. It doesn't matter. 8.
Yoan, you hold your wand up high and begin to try to attune yourself to the magical energies that are present. But unfortunately, you are very attuned to the magical pulsings throughout the world, and it's almost like a bit overwhelming to you so far out into the wilderness. Just a scattering of magical energies in all directions. You don't get a true bearing either way. Oh, Ailing just gave everybody a point of inspiration, however.
Yes.
So that's going to be 2 fails and 2 successes currently.
Oh, jeez.
And 20th, y'all are getting stacked on inspiration. You better be using it.
We are.
Viola, come on. Viola, baby.
And
that's excitement.
Loki.
Another.
I don't know. Oh my god. How many channel points have y'all been saving? We know it's true. Everybody's been coming to the solo streams, so they've been building up all of these channel points, and now they can just cash them out. Oh my god.
Another one.
No, it's good. No, use it. Loki says 15k. Oh my god. I'm sorry, Ailing says 15k. I'm gonna might have to readjust some of those costs. We'll see. We'll see how things go. 2.2, 10k. Oh, I've created monsters.
I have 4k myself.
You have 4k yours. Dang, high rollers. Okay.
How many do I have?
I see you. Ailing said nothing to see here.
What does that mean? know what that one.
Oh, it's just fun. It's just a fun little thing that says nothing to say.
It's cute. Okay.
Oh, but we did get a
listen.
hydrate, so I'm gonna hydrate myself.
Okay. How do we? Chugging or no? Sorry, that was the drinking game in me. It's like the whole thing.
Yeah, right.
The whole thing, right? So listen, I don't really have like Arcana bonus, which I feel like that would really be helpful in this moment. So I can do one of two things. Well, I guess three things. I mean, I guess I can do countless things, but the three main things that I would want to do. So I can either do another survival check.
Mm-hmm.
I can do an Arcana check and use inspiration because I'm loaded.
Mm-hmm.
Or I could do something a little crazy, but I don't want it. Would this be our last failure if I fail here?
Yeah, I can't tell you for certain, but it would be a high probability of not being good.
Okay, so I will go ahead and. I feel like I'm gonna do the Arcana check, and I'm just gonna be like, "Tell me this magic."
Okay.
Or can I do will a religion check help me now?
I would say there's nothing you know about the Forsaken that particularly tied them to any sort of religious knowledge, so unlikely.
All right. Okay. And I'm using inspiration, so I got a 16.
A 16.
Oh.
Okay. Viola, you clutch. Everyone's trying to now make a drinking game in the chat since Sydney, you said you were like, chug. Oh boy.
My fault.
Viola, you clutch your holy symbol around your neck and praying to Tetrios to guide you forward since you are feeling desperate. You raise your hand and march forward. And although you are uncertain of your steps, there is a rumble of thunder in your ear as you begin to feel Tetrios' guidance move through you. You do find you put yourself in the bearing of the direction of those thrums of energy that do seem to be getting louder and louder. You are, that is a success. You're not completely out of the woods yet, but that is a success.
Oh, fun.
All right, who's next?
Oh, we can do multiple.
Oh yeah. Until you succeed or fail. Everyone has to go at least
Okay.
once, but then some people, if they have a really strong idea, feel compelled, they can go again.
Okay. Is it possible for me to use my stealthy abilities and I want to stealth closer to where I hear the magic?
Yes, if you are also willing to risk if something goes bad that you will be stealthy in front of the party.
I've been rolling like shit all night. Let me see. I have so much inspiration, but I'm
That's true.
so stealthy. Let's do it.
All right.
I'll do it.
All right. Roll that stealth for better or ill.
I'm telling you right now, I'm already using inspiration, so it's gonna happen. All right, y'all. Okay, that's a really good roll.
Okay.
Hold on, maybe I'll get better. Okay. I rolled an 18 plus 7, so that's 25.
Okay. That's definitely a success. Nadara,
Sorry, that's a fail.
Yeah, this one particular check is suddenly like 12 points higher. You crouch down low against the brush and the rain as you creep forward, and just, you don shadows like a familiar cloak. You find every bit of darkness that you need to move forward. And you can see at this point that you start hearing stronger crashes of waves underneath the latent hum of the magical energy, almost like you're nearing towards a new body of water, and it does seem to be like as you're peering down and you're following the tracks, it does seem to be in the direction that the Forsaken have been wandering, is towards this new body of water. So it's a success.
Okay. Yeah, and I wouldn't tell the party that, I hear water, like we are heading towards. Oh shit, we're not done yet?
No?
Okay. Oof.
Yeah, you may.
Oh, gee.
This may be a moment where you are on the precipice of either success or defeat. No pressure, but you know.
Okay.
Listen.
The very tentative.
Never mind. Someone else is more equipped in this moment, and I know that.
So Moosity looks at Yoan. You got the brains.
It's on you, man.
Oh, now you have nice things to say about it. How the
He set
tables have
himself up for that
turned.
one.
I think to punctuate that moment, he takes out the Kelpie eye and just goes. Can I use my new source of illumination alongside another investigation check to look for some more clues as to where they might have gone?
Yes, I will. Ooh. I will definitely allow the use of your Kelpie eye to give you another investigation.
Will that give me advantage, or I haven't used investigation in the challenge, just before it?
Ooh, that's a good question. I will say I will allow it to grant you advantage if, once again, you are willing to risk the fact that you will have a lit beacon if you get discovered.
Yeah. 13.
13? Loki says, "What do your Kelpie eyes see?" Yoan, you are holding your Kelpie eye, squish squish, as you are walking through the heavy weeping willows and the brush and the rain, and you're following the sounds of that the rushing water, and you find yourself now walking through like clouds of mist, right? Like these pools of smoke and fog that roll off of the waterways, and you hold the Kelpie eye high, right? And it sort of cuts down through all of the fog, and you can see that the path actually wanders its way towards like a rocky outcropping that drops down into a rushing body of water below you, right? And you sort of peek down, and you can see just the faintest glimpse of some stones and like other things that could maybe be used as like a makeshift handholds, right? That would take you down across this. But before you have a moment to act much longer, that latent sort of magical thrumming, woom, woom, suddenly feels like it clicks on, and not only clicks on, but directly underneath your feet, as you suddenly feel a heavy weight, a burden, fall upon your shoulders, and your ankles feel almost as if they are being locked in place. You look down, and that same magical sigil that the Forsaken once used to bind your cart in place has now completely erupted and locked you. Well, we'll see if it locks you with a save, but right now, you feel as though you are trying to be imprisoned by some sort of arcane force underneath your very feet. And once that happens, you also begin to hear some rustling from the bushes nearby and some whispers as dark figures begin to break in from the sides. And I think that is where we will end our session for tonight. So Yoan is going to be standing there with his Kelpie eye, magically bound in place, as shadowy figures are beginning to descend upon his position from all angles. And that is where we'll end for the night.
And that is how the cookie crumbles.
How's that feel, gang? How's that feel for you?
Great.
Yeah?
Fantastic.
That was amazing.
Well, speaking of people being amazing, thank you to the people who are in chat and have stayed with us through this adventure, this episode. We appreciate you so much. Look, said, are they going to enter as soon as the music starts? Of course. If you think I did not have some combat music ready for tonight for some point, you know, we'll cue that up. We'll cue that up for next time. But thank you so much for everyone who joined us in the chat. We are level 1 adventuring. We're back, baby. Hopefully, getting into the regular swing of things on your Wednesdays. If you have joined us for the first time, we are a role-playing game stream, both video, digital, tabletop, solo, group. We do it all. Monday, Tuesdays, Wednesdays. Follow us here on Twitch and everywhere else on the YouTubes, on Discord, where you can see all of this lore that I've been dropping. This episode is nestled there. Thank you once again to, I'm saying all of my good things, Tabletop Audio for the sounds, Streamlabs and Stream Spells for the effects. Affiliate link below if you want to upgrade your own streams. And yeah, I'm Wolf Scott. I'm your host and Dungeon Master. I really appreciate all your time and energy. I love seeing all of y'all cheer on the antics and the adopting of frogs and the squishing of eyeballs and all the weird stuff that happens on our stream. Just weird getting weirder. But beyond that, I'm gonna leave it over to the rest of our friends here to say their thanks, whatever else they'd like to say.
Thank you so much.
Okay, love you. Bye.
What they said.
As I stare expectantly at Ember, she's like,
Oh, my bad. Okay.
Does Poops have any parting words for us?
Poops always has something to say.
Can I end with a shameless self-plug?
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
We love a shameless self-plug.
Okay. Beautiful. Y'all, you can also catch me on Twitch. I'm trying to stream every Sunday, and I play something. I was playing Triangle Strategy last Sunday, tactical RPG game.
Nice.
Sometimes I'll play Project Zomboid or something like that. So come catch me, the girl with caramel skin, also on Twitch. Thanks, y'all.
Yeah, I believe your stream should be linked below ours as well, so you can go right through there. You can find it right there. It's already there. But yes, thank you so much for joining us. We will see you very soon. Make sure to tune in on all the other streams. And until then, be well, be good, be easy.
Bye.
Later.
We love you.
Bye.